Semi-final, that's not a bad place. But in terms of the Super League, and both maybe not as happy with form as they would like to be. So somebody could create a big correction here tonight in that respect. Tom Grant blows his whistle. We are underway. St Helens have first touch of the ball, and Walmsley is the man who'll come in charging through. And we haven't got Falk here tonight. That is the lingering smoke from the fireworks, and to make it potentially more difficult in the next couple of minutes or so. Sam Burgess down on the touchline. That's an interesting change of position. To make it more interesting for Matt Duffy in these opening couple of minutes, the sun is very low, so a high kick at the end of this opening set could cause him one or two problems. Anyway, here comes Whitley for St Helens, who's gathering in a few extra yards, and Tristan Saylor, the fullback, trying to be a little tricky as he runs it forward. And now we do come to the last, and it's shipped back to the young man that everybody seems to be talking about of late, up in the air from Whitby, and taken safely enough from Ashton. And Warrington get their first touch.
Well, this is where the game will be won from both sides. Both sides have looked to impose themselves on each other. I thought Saints were really good last week against the Warriors. Like the way that they played, the way that they defended, the way they really took the game to them. Like, you can't come up with loose passes like that. And is there a mistake? Was it stripped?
Oh, stolen one-on-one and forward. Warrington scrum.
Decision here.
Stolen one-on-one and forward. Warrington scrum.
Well, they get away with it here. Look, the ball was stripped from Morgan Knowles. You're saying it was one-on-one. Then when he strips the ball, it goes forward. But that loose pass from Sam Powell, he puts his hands up, acknowledges that, but you can't do that 15 metres from your line.
Well, you probably noticed, I think I mentioned earlier, Tom Grant was a referee tonight. I think you quickly noticed that it is Liam Moore is a referee. I think Tom's in the video booth this evening. So wanting to get it back here. You'd think deep inside their own half, but with work to do and confidence to try and build. And Curtis Sheridan trying to bludgeon that out of them with his effort in the tackle, as that was brought forward by Thewlis. Taken on another stride or two. It's going to be hard work getting out of there. Here's Powell, the back of Russell. 3 gone, 10 short of that halfway line. Sam Powell wants it played quickly here. It's out with Walker, looking to invite the runner back on that inside again, but with only a couple of plays to go, Warrington at least do find themselves inside the St Helens half of the game. It's with Sneed. It takes a deflection. The bounce. It's back to one. There's some luck there. There's some luck there.
Well, they've had a couple of things that have gone for them, haven't they, early on in the game, and making plenty of decent meters. Saints trying to get off the line, but not trying to thread it through. The arm goes up from Whitley.
Putting the arm in the air. He might have had his back to the ball, but he clearly played at it because the arm went up in the air in that unnatural position. So Powell collects again, and Warrington with Walker flinging it back, trying to create the burst with Thewlis, and it's St Helens penalty here, is it?
It leaves Morgan Knowles at the back.
I think one of the Warrington players has run behind his old man Thewlis. You can see that he's blocked somebody. Or the way that the Warrington player Lurch Yates and Morgan Knowles can't affect the tackle. Penalties awarded. It's a let-off, really.
Hit the line, boys, line.
Jenna Brooks, what have you got for us?
Evening, Dave. Just a little update on George Williams, the star halfback for the Warrington Wolves. There he was there, the captain of Warrington. We know he suffered that ankle injury. He had surgery last week. The boot is already off. He is at the minute ahead of schedule. He's doing everything he can to get back out there as quickly as possible. It's usually a 2-month rest period before returning. He has his heart and eye set on Wembley. Of course, that is if Warrington happen to make it, but that is 6 weeks away, just over 6 weeks, so that would be quite the recovery if he was to play in that final.
Thank you, Jenny. Saylor going left, Percival not going very far, and there's a claim there that he's lost it, and Walker in the middle of things. I think he might have been the man who bumped it free.
Yeah, well, Danny Walker and Roderick Tye, both of them. Look at that good shot underneath the ball from Roderick Tye. There was another good shot centre field. I think it was from Paul Vaughan on George Whitby when he carried the ball and tried to use his magic to show and go. But defensively, they started well against Paul Wellens' side.
The shoulder of tie, not for the first time. We've seen that employed in that disruptive fashion of his.
Pretty decent start.
Lady Gardner having a quick chat with Sam Burgess, former St Helens hero, of course, wasn't he?
Heads down in.
Lady Gardner.
Get tight in. Hands over that way. No, that way. Hands over, yeah. Shot clock off. Out.
Walker to feed. King to carry.
One. Move, George!
Sambo and Whitby both there to make sure that that carry is not by much.
Two.
Well, it's been a balanced opening, hasn't it?
Hold here.
A little bit nervous from both sides' point of view at times.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, be one on the back of strong carries like this. You want your big forwards to land on the front, play the ball quickly, and even on that occasion when Sam Powell gets out there, he's looking for who to pass it to. It's a big kick to the corner.
Oh, it's not one of Snead's best.
Yeah.
It's travelled a much greater distance than he would have hoped, and it's the Saints fans who chant his name in mock irony.
Well, he's going to call all the players on the last, isn't he, Mark Snead? Going to be in control, more or less control the whole game for Warrington. And they'll be disappointed with that. 7 tackles now that Saints have to march up the other end of the field.
Opportunity to build. Matty Lees with that carry. Clark bends his back, a dummy half again, and past Walmsley and into the hands of Whitby, who's looking on for Whitley, who's been playing the centres last couple of weeks, hasn't he, Matt Whitley? But he's now back in the back row where he probably feels more comfortable. Clark. This is Walmsley pushing off a couple of defenders, and then they're keeping it tight as it's taken on by Sirenen. Struggling and wrestling, trying to get the arms free, trying to get a few extra yards. He sneaked a couple. Wellesby and Whitby, and slinging it across, not the best of passes. So it'll be Benison who's flattened. King reading it. Saints losing a bit of momentum. They're back on the last. Whitby recovers his poise with that kick. It's another of those steepling high kicks. Oh, my goodness. Doesn't that test the man at the back?
Yeah, well, he hasn't got anywhere to go, has he? Nerves of steel at the back. And Saints trying to play off some plenty of power. Matty Lee's going searching, but Roderick Tye, what a job to bounce off that tackle.
You stick it that high.
Wow. You've got to be brave at the back, haven't you?
He's clearly got a prodigious boot, hasn't he, George Whitby? We saw a bit of that in the last couple of weeks. The height he gets on those kicks. Chasers love it. Vaughan with a carry. This is Powell. Tricky steps forward again, but no great indentation. Duffy on the 5th, and now Snead again on the last. Sailor underneath it. Calm evening, so it should be relatively easy to patch those, but we misspoke last week, suggesting he had a safe pair of hands literally moments before he lost it, and Wigan scored the match-clinching try.
Matt Percival, how good's he at bringing the ball away? He's 100 miles an hour every time he carries the ball. He's not the biggest as well. The outside backs for both sides are very good. Got plenty of speed, but brave as well, as you like.
Wellesby back in the middle. Walmsley being drawn on into the contest. Gladiatorial style, but a couple of Warrington defenders more than a match there, and Whitby with a little dummy and tries to trick his way through, but it's not ball, and he has lost it. So a couple of mistakes, a mispass and a knock-on in these early stages. Will just test his temperament, the young fella.
Look, he's a confident kid in the... Paul Wellens wouldn't throw him in. He's playing at a level now up against the big boys, but that won't affect him. As long as you give him plenty of options, he'll have a dig into the line. He's a brave little thing. Every time you watch him play, and when you watch him coming through the ranks at Saints, always had a big reputation. Bring one of those brave halves that likes to attack the forward centre field.
Well, you could be the best player in the world and you'll never have a run of perfect games, will you? You'll have to get used to mistakes and how you overcome those. So here's a lesson being learnt by the young half tonight here. Not disastrous, but just little fumbles. Snead with a kick and a chase because there's no one back, and it is a chase on from Matty Ashton. Sailor has to get back there, has to be quick, but all he can do is smother the ball. And wonderful skill off the boot from Snead, and he's forced Saints into a dropout.
Look, well, that's what you get, isn't it? Well, you could see that he was defending around near the scrum area. There was some space at the back, up against one of the fastest players in the competition in Matty Ashton, but he did just enough, Tristan Saylor, to get back covering that man's kick. Ask a few questions, and that's what Warrington will do with Sneed.
So Whippy with a drop, Duffy with a catch. Vaughan with a carry, just has to step back a little, maybe not at full flight when he hit that line.
Get back, Matt.
So his impact
Find space, Paul, that's on you.
not as good as it might have been. Curry flings it back to Sneed again, and Duffy stepping into the line, and here comes King, and they were ranging down this left-hand side. There's some potency down that flank. Another set of 6. Referee not happy with the tidiness of the tacklers in at the play the ball, and Yates will set a platform. 20 away. There's a tangle. So it's slowed down. Sneed, Vaughan. Leg strength. Trying to push them through. Warrington fans beating their drums, raising the tempo from the terraces, lifting the noise as Walker goes right. And here comes Ty, who puts on the big right foot, but 3 St Helens defenders ready and waiting for the Papua New Guinean. And he's stopped. So they try again. Curry. Dummy, but nowhere to go.
Well, that ball needed to come out.
Oh, he has got it out. Eventually, Sneed spinning it wide. Well read by your man, Percival again.
Yeah, outstanding defence. Pulled the trigger, went in, stopped him dead in his tracks, Russell.
Running through tackles here, Curry, and now Vaughan. This is going to be the 5th. So 1 play to go. Warrington 12 away. Sneed with that delicate little chip this time. The arms go up. Sambu got there. It's come back. Well, it's a knock-on. And it will be St Helens who get it back. Warrington have knocked it on.
Yeah, great kick. And John Bennison dealt with this really well as well. When the ball goes up, he goes up, he's looking to challenge. He doesn't get anywhere near the ball, but he comes down with the collar of Matty Ashton, just pulls him over, which then helps his teammates. He goes to offload the ball, and then they force the error. And again, a really difficult place here now to bring the ball away.
How are you marking this so far? Because they both had frailties, they both had form moments, haven't they?
No, but you just can't make mistakes. And like, there's a couple of times last week when they come up with an error like that.
Oh, that's a fumble. Well, there's a mistake. It started as a well-intentioned offload from Curtis Sirenen, but St Helens' response is to knock on, and Warrington are given prime position.
Well, last week when they played in the derby against Wigan, they conceded 2 tries from kicks. The defence was brilliant, but what they were doing with the ball in the first half, they were only completing at 56%. You can't keep doing that, week after week. There's no need for the offload when you're close to your line like that. Warrington hunting the mistake, and they nearly came up with it as well, and that kick would have gone just in front to fool this. It was a certain try, and the shake of the head says it all, doesn't it, from Curtis Sirenen.
There's concern on that edge, and well-placed concern, because Warrington have 6 goes to have a go, and King will take the chance. First time of asking, pushes defenders away. There's some slackness there, but King wasn't in need of a second invitation, and he will get the first try of the night. Warrington strike first.
Well, you can't invite Warrington anywhere near your line, and the loose offload from Curtis Sirenen just wasn't on. You've got to put yourself in the position to benefit from things, but you could see big Alex Walmsley just couldn't bend down. 6'7", 6'8", couldn't get down, pick the ball up. Sam Powell looking to get through this free, and then straight centre field from the scrum. A good ball from the back of the scrum from Sam Powell. He didn't break a stride, and as soon as he gets this, he just shoves out that right hand, gets on the outside, and scores what is a simple try. Toby King, 2 in 2 weeks, scored last week against Leeds, backed it up again in this game.
He's got some strike, and he proved it just a few moments ago. And Mark Sneed celebrating a bit of a landmark tonight, by the way. Mark Sneed, his 350th career performance He's had a few memorable ones down the year, hasn't he? Lance Todd Trophy winner 2 years back-to-back, 16 and 17. And AI has due respect for his kicking abilities, giving him a 72% chance of success here, based on time in the game, position on the field, conditions around, but most importantly of all, his record in the past. There's some focus there, there's some concentration there. That left foot sweeps, but I think he's put it wide. Yes, he has. It drifts away. So it remains at 4-0 for Warrington.
Well, energetic start from Toby King and his side. Samu just couldn't quite deal with the pace and the power. But he just gets outside of him. He'll be disappointed, the youngster, when he watches that. It's just the right arm fend, the see you later in his chest, and he goes in for what is a simple try, really, when he punches into space. He's effective, Toby King.
Stefan Ratchford just about to the left of your screen there as you're watching. Might be whispering in his coach's ear, give me a chance maybe next week, but it depends on how well Danny Walker goes in the acting standoff role tonight. This is Vaughan. Well, nowhere to go, and you don't see that very often, do you? He's lost yards.
No, he's big, he's powerful, his leg speed on contact is really up there. And then Saints just trying to get off the line, get in the faces, but they need some calm heads here as well. Now Saints.
Quickly along the line they come again. Fitzgibbon.
Just past the line. Hold.
Powell. A stumble, almost a loss of the ball, it seemed, from Luke Yates, but he gathers it in those two big arms of his and holds it tight and drives it in. There's Dufty on the last.
Hold. Goal 5.
Sneed.
40.
Talking about a 40-20 here. There's certainly a spin on that ball which makes it awkward, but Denison always favourite to collect and bring it back, and he does, but Vaughan's got out there quickly to cut him down.
That's a great kick. In between the fullback and the winger, and traps him on the 10, and then looking to power the ball away. Warrington's line intact, looking to do a number here on Saints.
Wellsby going there, Percival. Familiar stride pattern, quick-legged. Clark, another former hero in these parts, of course. 4 gone, Saints. Still a good 12-15 yards short of the halfway line. Whitby puts it back on the inside. Walmsley just can't get on the outside. Diagonal run, back it comes to Whitby again, who's got some pressure from Walker, but gets the kick away and taken by Dufty, and Dufty a threat the moment he has it.
Yeah, nice pressure from Danny Walker and good take at the back from Matt Dufty. Really calm and composed. He's just got to get on with it here and play the...
It's a bit above.
He's just got to play the ball here. Instead of trying to milk a penalty and point and try and get one off the referee, just get up and play the ball. It's really slowed that set down now for Warrington.
Here is in, Powell up. Curry. Always lost it. I think it's Russell who's lost it. And St Helens are gifted possession themselves now in enemy territory.
Dave, I'm going to go back to that play the ball from Matt Dufty. He just made Saints' line totally intact where they could get off the line and try and force the error. You just got to get up, play the ball quick, and let the ref do his job.
Murphy to his feet. St Helens looking to bring it back. Whitby with a short pass. Whitley was the man to collect. Clark. Whitby acting as general down this right-hand side. Dunnies and smacks into the chest of Paul Vaughan.
That's the second time the big props nailed him.
I think he's been given a job to do, hasn't he? Young fella out there, stop him in his tracks. And Ty read that to perfection. There were runners going everywhere, but he picked his man, Tristan Saylor, and he stopped him before he'd even started. Knowles.
Oh, there was a mistake.
Knock on again. Yeah. Knock on again. And Vaughan is very much the man with a toothy grin at the moment. He's in everything.
Yeah, well, the completion rate is just not good enough for Saints. They make a mistake, they get into the field position where they want to be. He's a big man, Paul Vaughan, but he gets right down low, hits the ball in contact, and there you go. There's Paul Welland's reaction with his coaching team, Lee Breers and Eamon O'Carroll. You work hard to get in front of the sticks, and you want to have a couple of cracks at the line. You can't afford to just keep turning the ball over cheaply.
If he doesn't then pull his leg, he might actually get something. So you have a word with him. Come on then, boys, please. As in tight.
Liam Moore making sure everything is as it should be.
Back in Tristan. Head in, Tristan. Shot clock off.
Danny Walker will feed it, and King will lead the charge. The only point scorer so far tonight. Fourth try of the season. Fitzgibbon.
Two. Move on. Just past the line. Hold.
Powell skinning it back, and Curry has got Walker just behind him, but he decides to take this task on him by himself.
Move down. Off and square. Hold, boys. Go for it. Good.
Powell again. Here's Sneed again. Well, he's behind the 40. And we know how good he is. We know how good he is. What a sweet kick that was. He picked his point, and he found it to perfection. And he has put Warrington on the spearhead of attack here.
Well, they knew what they were getting when they signed Mark Sneed, a little general in the middle of the field. He can spot some space at the back. Paul Vaughan looks like he's enjoying himself here. Kicks on the third plate. And so when you've got someone like Mark Sneed, he was man of the match against Saints on his debut, wasn't he? Quality performance in that game.
So Yates with initial carry. 5 plays to go, 10 metres to cover. St Helens a job on their hands to try and stop Warrington, who just at the moment are absolutely full of the fuel of confidence. Walker switches to Curry. Curry now puts it back. Sneed's involved again. They've got the runners. They've got King. And they've got a finisher on the end of that in Matty Ashton. Whoa, this left-hand side is paying dividends on the back of that smart Sneed kick. Ashton diving in. Warrington are on a roll.
Well, Mark Sneed, all the experience, knows what you've got to do in big games, in situations like that. Set up the field position for your strike players out on the edge. And Mark Sneed, on his 350th career appearances, comes up with a belting kick. Kicks it, and you can see there's not a chance anyone's going to get anywhere near it. It was that good. Change of direction from Warrington. Been doing this an awful lot in this game. Toby King gets this. Probably could have gone over it himself, but unselfishly passes it on to Matty Ashton, who goes in for his 7th try of the year. And again, just players. You can see Saints backing off, which is always difficult when you're defending 10 from your line. As soon as you start backing off and not defending on the front foot, someone's got to make a decision and jam in to stop the ball. And when it's a 3 versus 2, with numbers coming across to help Saints, they just didn't have the time to prevent it.
Just had a little whisper in my ear from O'Mahony and Proctor, who says that Mark Sneed has missed his last 5 kicks on this ground. 0 from 5. So maybe just a little bit of pressure growing.
Where does he get that information from?
He's
Can't remember what he had for dinner today.
He's the mastermind of rugby league. Absolute mastermind. And he's grinning. He's gone red now. Anyway, Mark Sneed, is he going to break this run of misses? 0 from 5 on this ground, Hull, and then here tonight. He's put it. You could not kick him down. I think he got the message from Procus, and he wasn't going to miss. 10-0.
He just looked up at the gantry and gave him a nod as well. See, invite Warrington down near your line, and they have got so many strike players that will score tries. And Saints just can't get hold of it at the minute. And there you go, straight between the H's.
Why would you ever doubt him? He's not looking at Procus there.
No, he's pointing at Procus there.
Sailor with a restart. Warrington have it back. 10-0. Oh, and there's a mistake, because that bounced out of play, and St Helens have given themselves a chance to respond immediately.
Well, that was a great kick, wasn't it? From Tristan Sailor. Look at that. Matt Duffy and Roderick Tye, neither one of them called for it. Both looking at each other and both hoping that it was going to go over the sideline. Someone's got to call for it. Got to be a clear call for that.
Duffy and Ty just looking at each other. Maybe they should have spoken to each other. But look where Saints are now, on the back of that. Play the ball, 10 out. And Walmsley's in the mood to rock and roll. It's Matty Lees, I do apologise. He's in the mood to rock and roll. Push back. Clark having a look. Knowles on the dummy run, goes out to Whitby. This is Walmsley. And driving in, and 4 defenders attending to him because they know the threat. So they're in there to slow him down. Clark picks it up to Knowles. Whitby slings it back. Sailor, Percival, quick hands, and that is a smart try. Finished by John Bennison. Well, interesting, Mark Percival involved in that side as well, wasn't he? So they've obviously switched the centres. They've detected something in defence down that right-hand side. But it's in attack that the potency has been added, and Saints with that response.
Well, I think you've got to credit Tristan Sailor. What about this for a kick-off? They'll be disappointed. Roderick Ty and Matt Duffy, neither one of them called for that ball. Both of them about to put their arms up. But Saints, again, another team, get that field position. Tristan Sailor did a decent job at attracting those players. And Mark Percival, just look at the nice, neat hands here that he shows. Well, he's under some pressure. They jam in. They can't prevent him from getting the ball away.
That's some centre play, isn't it?
Yeah, he's up there, Mark Percival. Look at that. He's just got no respect for his own body. He knows what's coming, really. But in his mind, as soon as he catches this ball, he knows that they've got him on the overlap. Matty Ashton, Lee bites in, leaves some space out wide. And John Bennison, the player who benefited.
Game back on again, and Whitby looking to add the 2. They're doing their level best to put him off. He stroked it wide, not far wide, but enough to turn those jeers a little louder. But 10 points to 4, 26 minutes played. Nicely poised here.
Look, and the big thing is getting some points on the board, and Mark Percival delivers that pass, and look at the space that he had, John Bennison. And the big thing when you're attacking the line is making defenders make mistakes and drag them out the line and make a decision that benefits your teammates. And that man benefited then.
Well, as we said, the quick fix was moving Percival over here, because that left-hand side of Warrington's attack was where everything was coming from in terms of tries scored, and Percival was over there to close things down. But it's an attack that he's proven how very specially talented he is there.
And did well to regather that ball then, Curtis Sironen.
Reminder of what's coming up, by the way, over the weekend. Some big games, and we're only a week away from the very special weekend, of course. Magic weekend coming up, Newcastle. Be great to see lots of folks there. Rugby League in Newcastle back on the agenda. Whitby switching it back to Wellesby, and now Sailor chiming in again. And here's Clark. Walker trying to put pressure on Wellesby, but little step earns him an extra yard or 2, but the kick is patched on the full by Duffy, who can return it to within 15. A win for Warrington's defence, given their starting position here. Oh, and there's a dart from Walker out of dummy half.
2 speedsters early on, Matt Duffy first, then Danny Walker.
It's tight. Curry across the line. The returning James Harrison missed out last week, on from the bench this week. Sneed stepping. Oh, there was a read of an intercept potentially there from Percival. King gets it away, and look at the pace from Matty Ashton. He was burning the grass as he ran. Percival came out early, tried to close things down. King showed great level-headedness to keep them alive, but we're going to the video referee.
Tom, we have no tackle. We have a try. Can you confirm there's no knock-on by Warrington in the build-up, please? Thank you.
It's 0 tackle of the try on field. We're checking there is no knock-on by Warrington in back play. So we'll play from this angle. So we're fine to this point. Appears to be a St Helens. It's a moving ball. The ball is loose. Who's that coming for? It appears to be a St Helens hand. Can we just double check on a different angle, please? This might tell more. You can't see the arms there, so this will do. So moving ball, we've established that. So slow on this. Anything else on that? Just to confirm that the ball does come off the St Helens hand. The ball is touched there. This is the best angle we've got. So the ball is touched by St Helens. That's knocked on into the Warrington player's hands. That's now 0 tackle. It's picked up clean. So we can run this through, please, towards the touchline. So the corner camera will do. So we're through in towards grounding. 1-0 tackle at this point. And then just something to decide just to confirm the grounding, please. Ball is grounded. November decision.
It's going to be the second of the night for Matty Ashton. Third of the night for Warrington. They're already celebrating. They know what's coming. They have no doubts. And there's confirmation. 14-4. 10-point lead re-established.
Well, when Mark Sneed was passing that ball, I thought that there was an intercept on from Mark Percival. Mark Percival had eyes for Matt Duffy. You can just see him go for him. The ball is loose. Bennison can't get hold of it. And Matty Ashton, again, benefits from the pass from Toby King, goes in score. That's his 5th try in the last 3 games. And Warrington, nice, clever little play. He just holds up the defence, Mark Sneed. Doesn't get the passes after, but the speedster's there again.
Just off a standing start, more or less, there. He was lightning, wasn't he?
Well,
down that left-hand side.
Well, they wanted a big start. They wanted to post some points. And Mark Sneed with his kicking game. He's got another 2 to find here.
There he goes. Never going to miss that one. 16 points to 4. Game swings strongly Warrington's way.
Well, you've got so many threats with the ball. You can see Saints just panicking a bit. Players coming out of the line trying to solve the problems himself. They can't do that. Ashton gets hold of it. And 12-point lead on 30 minutes. Sam Burgess will take that, knowing that is up against a very good side in Saints. They would have wanted a response here today, as would Warrington. Well, this side are leading, and Paul Wellens will be so disappointed, really. Again, the completion rate from them is 56%.
Walker again out of dummy half. Interestingly, with that little scurry, the marks he's made on the game so far have been from dummy half. That half break a little earlier, and just a troubling run from that position again here. It's his natural role, of course. Sneed. So an offload by Fitzgibbon that's untidy, and Bennison dives on it. And St Helens yet again in the mood of the game have another chance for a quick response as Delaney goes crashing forward.
Well, again, you'll feed off anything, the scraps. They'll take it. It goes to the floor. Duffy can't take it in. Lachlan Fitzgibbon disappointed with that, turning the ball back inside here, Saints looking for Morgan Knowles. And they'll be looking for some late offloads, but look, very difficult to get the ball away when there's so many numbers in front of you.
3 tackles to go for St Helens. 30 metres out. Wellesby with a short pass. It's Serena who gets it back to Wellesby again, and they keep it alive. And the dancing steps of Whitby, but not for long. Clark in there. And more numbers as to this right-hand side. Knowles now, Wellesby, Percival comes in, steps. Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Well, he might have been at fault at the other end. in the conceding of the try, but he has played a glorious role in the 2 that St Helens have scored. The footwork there was that of a magician.
Look, he's Saint's top point scorer this year, isn't he? Well, that's mainly from the boot. But when he gets the ball, I said before in commentary, he's so dangerous, Mark Percival. The way he returns the ball, always asks questions with the ball, and just look at this little outline. It's perfect from him. He gets hold of the ball, just skips on the outside of Toby King, and Toby King panics a bit. And we said down the other end, as soon as you're on your heels and you just rock, you could just see him just rock back on his right heel, and he couldn't recover from that. Incredible. Look at that. He does him like a kipper.
Well, they weren't matched up when the night began because, of course, Percival started on the other side, obviously, but that little battle between the 2 of them in the last few moments has been wonderful to watch, hasn't it? King with one and Percival with a response at the other end. Not kicking goals, though. That's still with Whitby.
A big kick, this, from Whitby at the minute. The 2 scores behind. And he gets this, brings it back to a converted try.
And it's a tough one again. What have we got? What have we got? 64% success probability. They'll have factored in the noise that the Warrington fans are making behind. Here's a picture of concentration as he rolls up, starts it a little wider right this time, and 2 wide right. Overcorrection. 16-8 it remains.
Well, if they can get their hands on the ball enough, Saints, they'll obviously cause some problems, but they've just not been able to complete and ask so many questions like this. Look at sets completed. Warrington completed 13 out of 17, and Saints just 5 from 9.
Delaney leads the charge. St Helens back within 8. 3 tries to 2 in what has been a very entertaining first half here so far. 7 minutes remain, just under. Clark goes out of dummy half. Knows every blade of grass on this field, of course. Here's Saylor. Knowles. Slinging it back and slinging it in. St Helens again with Matty Lees. There's an injury there to Lachlan Fitzgibbon, who's running back to get back in the line, but he's not looking too healthy on the back of that. Last play. Who boots this? Back with Whitby. 2 of them attracted to him, but again the height on that is ends in that result for the second time.
Yeah, do you know, it was a well-placed kick, wasn't it? He needed his teammates to just follow that kick, but he needed Matt Duffy as well to come from down near the try line, running onto it. As soon as he gets it, he gets some attention. Harrison now trying to go for some big heavy contact from St here now.
Good evening, by the way, to Luke Littler, who's probably watching at the moment, because by all accounts he lost to Michael Van Gogh in tonight's 6-5. He won't be happy that we've told you about that, but he will be happy the fact that Warrington are winning here at the moment by 16 points to 8. But St Helens are showing responses at every turn as Saylor brings it back again.
And I'd say just try and play as direct as you can. Don't run sideways and make yourself and open yourself up.
Murphy on the left-hand side. It's Whitby and Delaney again. The legs moving quickly as he hit the line.
You know, the pace from St Helens over the last couple of minutes has really stepped up a notch.
We look left again. Wellesby's involved. Whitby springing onto it, opposite back to Knowles. Knowles has a look at what's ahead of him and has a go.
No earlies, boys, no earlies. Go 5.
Whitby again, the kick. Oh, it bounces off Fitzgibbon, and it will be a knock-on. It's a forced error. So St Helens get it back from the scrum, all things being equal again.
Yeah, they take anything more. The youngster just kicks the ball, it goes straight into the bread basket. with Lachlan Fitzgibbon. He can't get hold of it, so they put themselves under a bit of pressure here. Now, I must say that I do think the introduction of George Delaney has really helped Saints. His go forward, his carries, been really strong, aggressive. His old school prop forward doesn't really have a sidestep.
So St Helens with 6 plays to have a go to try and narrow this gap a little as half-time looms. So testing effort. Sambo regains his position. Clark with a dummy. Runs into a little hole as well, almost wriggling away through. Morgan Knowles at dummy half. Big fella's pawing the ground, but it's going to be a more craft again. Oh, and taken on by Bennison, who comes skirting back on the inside, and King is back there to make the telling tackle. Boy, was that needed. Whitby again, dummy show, going for that line, but Warrington's defensive, just a little confused initially, quickly recovered their points to make the defensive effort a good one. Clark has had a dummy half. Percival's there. Needs to try and bludgeon his way over. Oh, has he got it down? Has he got it down? Well, they're confident that he has got it down. And if he has, this would have taken some finishing. And try on the field is a soft signal. And in this kind of condition, you very often think that that very much favours the attacking team. Let's hear from the video referee.
Tackle forward, the try on the field, we're checking grounding. So we play from this point. Can I just see something from the gantry, possibly camera 5, please? Same possession, into contact now. Collision is fine, so we can play on, keep going through, and then in towards, we'll stay in this angle actually. So keep playing it through, we lose sight of the ball at that point. We never see it on this angle, so we'll sign it off on that, so something from the corner. So we can see the ball here, it's falling towards the goal line. Is that the I lose sight of the ball on that one. Can you just confirm that? Yeah, so that's the arm with the strapping on that's on the goal line, not the ball. So we'll lose the ball at that point. Keep going through in this angle. Keep going through. So the referee blows his whistle at this point. And we've lost the ball for a long period. So something else, please. This might tell us more. So again, falling towards the goal line. I've lost sight of the ball again for a period. Anything else on that, please? Falling towards the floor. I've not seen the ball at this point. The referee's in a good position. So we can see the ball there, but I've lost sight of the ball for a long period. Have we got any other angle on that we've not seen? So we'll just check this angle. So I've then lost sight of it until the referee blows his whistle. Can we go back to the first one, please? So we've explored all the angles. Just going to check back on this. So we can see that's the strapping that falls towards the floor. I've lost sight of the ball. And then, at this point, the referee blows his whistle. A bend by decision.
Well, as we said, that initial indication from the on-field referee counts for so much in that kind of situation. And this is going to be the second try of the night for Mark Percival. 1 assist and 2 tries. He started on the left, but it's since he's come to that right-hand side, he has been having a devastating impact. And 16-12 with a kick to come.
Yeah, well, you look, Mark Percival, the only previous try that scored this year was in round 1 against a weakened Salford's side. He scored 2 in the last 5 minutes now. So important to the side. Big player, Mark Percival, all the experience in the world. I said before about the kicking could be so important come the back end of the game, and another important one here. Going to be third time lucky here for the youngster.
Whitby settles. And absolutely pinpoint on this occasion. 16-14, and Jenna Brooks with news on Mark Sneed.
Yeah, another blow for Warrington. Mark Sneed has just walked straight down the tunnel for a head injury assessment.
Wow. Never rains, but it pours when you got bad luck in the halves. But there is Mark Percival making an influence again. Almost poked the referee up the nose, and he's got a few worries there, hasn't he, Sam? When you're missing Sneed and Williams, my goodness, that is a big miss, and they'll be hoping and praying that Mark Sneed passes the HIN.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? You take out of them, then.
Oh, Whitby almost forgot what he had to do first before passing the ball, and that's catch it.
Well, the big thing for Warrington now is how they get through maybe the next 10-15 minutes. And all they've got the break in between that. Well, they've got to be good. They've got to be good defensively. They've got to lay some sort of platform, because it's going to be difficult. They say you take out George Williams, you take out Mark Sneed.
Clark out of dummy half, up to the 30-metre mark.
Thank you.
Wellesby to Saylor.
Well, Danny Walker's done a real decent job defensively on Tristan Saylor in this game, marking him up every time he gets the ball.
St Helens looking the more confident team at the moment, despite the fact they're trailing. Clark with a short pass, Whitby almost bursting away through. One play to go in this set. Wellesby's going to run it and keep it alive, and Percival times the pass now for Bennison to give him a bit of space. Bennison offloads, but forward, and that's where it stops. Forward pass, Warrington get it back, big relief. Last play of the half, you'd fancy.
Yeah, we're caught in two minds as Sam Burgess goes down the tunnel. Caught in two minds, John Bennison, whether to kick the ball, pass the ball. He tries to offload the ball over the head of one of the Warrington defenders. Unfortunately, he goes forward.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Sam Burgess has marched down that tunnel to get the latest news on Mark Sneed, hoping that his star man in the middle, the general, can get back on the field. Paul Willans had some troubling thoughts in that first half, but I think he's going to be the most buoyed coach at half-time, even though his side are still trailing here. Half-time, it's Warrington 16, St Helens 40.
Dave Terry, thank you very much. A match of high pressure and a brace of braces bagged by Maddie Ashton and Mark Percival with the final two tries of that first half to drag St Helens back into the competition. Well, the Wolves had led 10-0. Ashton's second try and seventh of the season had given them what we thought was a comfortable lead. But oh, how it turned. We'll discuss it all in the company of John Wilkin and Kevin Brown after this. It moves ever closer. Don't miss a packed night of boxing from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as bitter rivals Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn finally meet to settle their long-running feud. Coverage gets underway from 5 p.m. on Saturday, April 26. Just a couple of days to go. It's live on Sky Sports box office. The event is available to Sky customers and also non-Sky customers via the Sky Sports box office app in the UK and Ireland. If you're a Virgin Media and EE TV customer, please contact your operator. You can go to skysports.com/box office for any more information. Well, we're at the halfway point in the opening game of round 9 of the Betfred Super League, a round that will take us a third of the way into the season. And the visitors Saints trail by just 2 against the Warrington Wolves, who had blown out into a 10-0 lead early in that game. John Wilkin and Kevin Brown joining me here pitchside. Your assessment of what you've seen from both sides in the first 40 minutes, Kevin?
Yeah, well, for 25 minutes it looked like Warrington were going to run away, and Saints couldn't play much worse with and without the ball, but then, you know, that that frailty defensively that we spoke about, that Warrington have showed up this year, came back to bite them. The Mark Percival skipping round really easy, they shot in, and then the last one, that's unforgivable. I think Sam Burgess will be the more disappointed of the coaches, because they could have gone on with it and run away with this game.
And that despite leading at half-time. Paul Wellens bemoaned errors in the rivals round thriller against Wigan. Errors again were part of the theme for St Helens at the start of this one.
Yeah, Brian, they completed at 64% in that first half, and it's not just errors, it's errors that have consequences. And I think we saw at the start of this game the consequences of making errors. But Paul Wellens knew after Good Friday he needed a tidy performance with the ball. What he didn't need is Curtis Sirenen just getting an arm free after running over the top of Danny Walker and choosing to offload this ball. Like, granted, Al Walmsley should get on it from the resulting scrum. Look, this is where Warrington are dangerous, in good ball. But I'll say this is just a one-on-one miss. We're having a school here in defensively how to not play as a centre. Sambu this time, Toby King, you've got to make that tackle. It doesn't matter who you are. And Toby King really taking advantage of it again. This was Morgan Knowles with an error, Brian. It's errors that lead to consequences. Look, Paul Vaughan's delighted. Mark Sneed then smart enough, picks off a 40-20 on play 3, and it's off the back of this, you know, where Warrington take that St Helens right edge apart just by getting numbers right.
Yeah, they got the numbers wrong, and Danny Walker smartly plays it through. But just look at the St Helens defence backing off. They've got to make a decision. You're on your try line there. You've got to move forward. Yeah, granted, they are down numbers, but someone's got to make a decision and try and disrupt that play. That's too easy for Warrington, but it was good attacking style.
Yeah, and like as Kev said, look, Saints couldn't have played any worse for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They made errors, they weren't defending particularly strong, they conceded points. But, you know, it was really telling for me, after all of that, the first time they get the ball, they go down the other end of the field and score a try, and not just score a try.
And you're saying this is telling more defensively than offensively?
Yeah, because I don't think they had to do an awful lot to score, and this is what I'm talking about, Warrington's soft underbelly. It's a great kick-off by Tristan Taylor, by the way. Spiralling, Warrington need to do better, but in these situations, this is the first time Warrington had to defend anything in the entire game. Look, it's sublime from Mark Percival. Matty Ashton's that far in his own head at this point. Percival had switched sides, hadn't he, defensively, but it's attack where Percival came up to.
It's such a tough decision there for Matty Ashton. He has got to come in. And this one, Mark Percival does try and shut the play down, but it's a scramble. It's a scruffy try. I thought there was a hand on that by Toby King.
Try, you're right, Saints fans may bemoan that.
And that was just brief respite for Warrington. You know, that was a piece of luck. Saints get down the other end of the field again. Yet once again, Mark Percival stands up Toby King. Toby King will be embarrassed by that one. So Percival, who got moved for a defensive reason, has come up with 2 killer plays, scored one, set one up, and then he has the strength and presence of mind to get this one down.
And what you've got to do, you've got to give Paul Wellens a massive amount of credit for spotting something, making a change, but then the lads having the confidence to stay in the fight and come over. They could have gone in the half-time there, in front with a break on the right-hand side. The right-hand side now doesn't look frail. It looks really dangerous for Saints.
That try will have come at a cost as well, because I can tell you Mark Sneed has failed his HIA. This is the class. Looks like a little bit of friendly fire as he ran into the elbow of his own teammate Sam Powell. Mark Sneed will not play the second half of this game, with Warrington leading by just 2. Advantage St Helens.
Yeah, massive blow for Warrington. Well, again, Mark Sneed out the game or not, they need to sort the defence out. Goal line deep, Brian's so important.
It's a point you made pre-game. You've hammered it home there. Warrington's defence has just not been good enough. Can St Helens capitalise? It's round 9 of the Betfred Super League. It's a game of huge consequence for both the Warrington Wolves and St Helens. The home side of a narrow 2-point half-time lead. Second half on the way here on Sky Sports after this. It's what they all wanted. The Super League Jamboree returns to St James's Park, Newcastle. Maybank holiday weekend. Ticket sales are flying. And we've got all the games live for you on Sky Sports. We'll start with League Catalan. Hull KR Salford follows that. And day 1 concludes with St Helens taking on the Leeds Rhinos. Day 2, Sunday, May 4th, Huddersfield Hull FC will kick it all off. We'll have a repeat of the Vegas clash between the Wigan Warriors, the reigning champions, and the Warrington Wolves. Sky Sports action for that same channel for the curtain to come down on what should be another magic weekend in Newcastle, with Castleford taking on Wakefield. All 6 matches, 12 sides on 2 days over one epic May weekend with us here on Sky Sports. And we have got a game shaping up to be quite the thriller here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, with the home side leading by just 2 at half-time against St Helens. But the big news, Kevin Brown and John Wilkin, is Mark Sneyd will not play no further part in this game.
Yeah, that's massive. You saw, and we spoke about how crucial he was today without George Williams. His kicking game has already been sensational. Who kicks the ball for Warrington? Who runs the play? St Helens, I think, will be really happy with how are they travelling so far.
Let's get more of that half-time news from Jenna.
Yeah, speaking to Paul Wellens, he was disappointed with his side's discipline, but he absolutely loved the character that they showed to get back into this game. As far as Sam Burgess goes, well, really disappointed with how they ended that half, and of course with the adversity. Now Mark Sneyd out for the rest of this game, as well as next week after failing that HIA. He's eager to see how his side respond. Over to you, Dave and Tez.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, that's a big worry, isn't it, for Sam at the start of this second half. Limping along with only one recognised half before they started, and now missing him as well. Mark Sneyd out with that HIA. Warrington fans will be reminded of the 2019 Challenge Cup final against St Helens, when both their first choice halves that day, Kevin Brown and Blake Austin, were missing, and they went with Deck Patton and Jack Hughes in the halves, and they won the game. So, you know, it's not all lost, is it?
No, it doesn't mean that you lose the game, Dave, but it makes it harder, doesn't it, when you're up against a team that were flying the last 10 minutes of that first half, and the team that'll be more confident now. Obviously no Williams, no Mark Sneyd, no Hayes. That means that, what, Stephen Ratchford and Ollie Leyland maybe will be the reinforcements next week at Wigan.
But it's what they do tonight. It'd be interesting to watch on here to see how they readjust those pivots, because you look, I mean, Sam Powell, but then who do you play in? And well, we'll watch it unfold as the game goes on. There's the kick from Saylor, who catches safely enough and runs it back and finds himself 30 metres out. So St Helens, who finished the first half with a flurry, looking to see if they can start the second period in similar style. That's Murphy.
Well, just looking at the way that Warrington line up, I think it might be Ben Curry that's gone to into the halves along with Danny Walker. Like I said before, Sam Powell, he started his career in the halves at Wigan.
Yeah.
So they've got a few options, but it looks like they've gone with Ben Curry.
You still need a hooker as well. That's the problem, isn't it? You fill one hole and leave another one. So Whitby puts it back to Wellesby, and here now comes Curtis Surinam. And on the last, Clark rolls up. Back it comes to Whitby. And Whitby kicks it away. And the catch is safe enough. Of course, had it been foul play that had led to Mark Sneyd going off, they would have been able to activate the 18th man, who tonight for Warrington is young Ewan Irwin. I say young, he's only 17 years of age. And he is he's another up-and-coming rising star, is young Ewan Irwin. So, and he's a halfback. There he is. But just as it stands, they're not allowed to use him.
I think what they will miss as well is the distance that we saw, the 40-20 that Mark Sneyd got early in the first half, the distance on the kicks.
Here's Russell. 5 gone, 1 to play.
George, hold.
Powell.
Goal 5.
Who's going to kick this?
40.
It comes for Duffy to stick it high in the air, but there we go. Just a lack of effectiveness on that, because it's caught safely enough from Percival.
Yeah, there you go, scrappy kick as well. Didn't get the distance that they were after.
Johnny got early.
Benison. Clark at dummy half. Murphy stepping back on the inside. Tries to eyeball them. I think there was an obstruction shout from the referee, which is why he leapt to the ground. You'd hope that was the case. Whitby. And now Whitley. Clark having a look. 2 to his right. So he's going to drift back towards the middle again. And Whitby once again, as St Helens come towards the back end. It's a sloppy handling error. but it has gone backwards.
Goes back. Hold.
And they've still one play to go.
Hold. Ball 5. Matty Lees
Mosby
gets
with a
it.
kick.
Play on now.
Oh, and here's a bit of danger brewing from Dufty, who's not dealt with. Yes, he is. He thought he'd sprung clear. The referee says tackle complete. Elbows on the ground.
Great footwork from him, but just held by a couple of defenders from Saints. So he had to go back. Thought he was free though.
Up and square.
Well, he feels that he breaks the tackle, but there's just a hand on him.
Quick sets.
And only just.
Third. Move. Mark, get back. Hold.
Powell.
Hold. Player, you've done it,
Generates some
you've
go
done it.
forward here from the big troops again. Harrison lends a hand and puts it wide, and King gets it further wide, and here comes a flyer. Ashton again. Oh, it just runs into Saylor. It's just a collision of bodies.
Yeah, well, no technique in that from Saylor, but it was effective, did the job.
It's back with Powell. Walker dances in. Big foot step from him as well, but too much to ask to beat all of those St Helens defenders. Well, as you can see, Josh Dewey is getting a bit of treatment. Harrison puts it out. Curry throws it left. They've created space again here, and King puts it on a plate. A high-flying plate. But Matty Ashton diving in. Is this going to be the hat-trick?
We have a try.
He suspects it is.
Look at it
But
grinding
we're
in
off to the
touchline,
video
please.
ref again.
It's tackle 5 with the try and field. We're checking touchline into grounding. So in possession, jumps towards the goal line. So his feet are clearly in the air. It's confirmed from the other side, please. The ball is grounded, never loses possession of the ball. So from the other corner, please. This will do us. So we've established the staging field. Still in contact with the ball, and the ball is grounded. Then my decision.
Well, they've faced a bit of adversity right at the start of this second half, but they've responded in a fashion which I'm sure their coach will be very pleased with. Matty Ashton's hat-trick try to be confirmed here. He's flying, absolutely flying, literally in that sense, as he grabs that third.
Yeah, big finish from Matty Ashton. And Sam Burgess would have said at half-time, look, we've just got to play the cards that we dealt. We're down on a couple of players. We've just got to go out there, don't feel sorry for ourselves. When we get an opportunity, look to play. This was the last tackle. Saints were maybe expecting the ball to be kicked. A couple of Saints players know that they caught out, they caught short. They start stepping in. You see, nice play from Warrington. A couple of dummy runners go in. We get Darrell Clark interested. Mark Percival bites in as well, leaves some space out wide. It still took some finishing from Matty Ashton, but what a start in the second half.
Well, it's the 9th hat-trick of his career, 6 of those for Warrington. Presumably the other 3 were for Swinton, where he caught the eye after his big step up from Rochdale Mayfield, and there'll be a corner of Australia cheering on as well. The Mullumbimby Giants, where he had a little starring role in a cameo style a few years back. But he's doing it on a big stage here in Super League, and he's given his side a real leg up again when they needed it the most. Pulis in the absence of Sneed with a kick from the touchline. Oh, just not quite. But 20 points to 14.
Well, there's still 34 minutes to go in this game, but if they do go on to win this game, it's the impact that Matty Ashton will have had, scoring a hat-trick in 46 minutes. Everyone knows in the game how lethal he is out on the edge. Takes his chances, gets his opportunities. Look at him, the concentration, the focus just to go in and score the tries. And they needed a big start in the second half to give the ball out to him. And that's a big effort from him. And a much relieved start as well for Sam Burgess. Let me tell you, he would have been a nervous coach at half-time.
20 points to 14. There's still only one score in it, of course, though. Trying to go for St Helens brings them back levels, so a lot of work to do for both sides yet. But that shows the character from Warrington.
Look, they've got enough strike players, haven't they? When the camera's panning, they shows the sideline of who's missing, but you still look on the field and you've got to focus on the players that's in front of you, and there's still enough threat, there's still enough danger men in a Warrington jersey.
Powell back inside to Harrison. Harrison with a push. And a kick. Out of dummy half by Powell. Salem made it his. There's support there as well here from Murphy. Trying to just push players away.
And the big thing for Warrington as well is just knocking off the sets and getting to the kick. The amount of times that they can kick the ball without making an error will certainly benefit them. And maybe the kicking game from dummy half from Sam Powell will come into effect a bit more in this game.
It's amazing how many people spoke to before tonight who said golden point this, you know, it's got golden point written all over it. Well, just at the moment, that is not beyond credibility, is it? Clark jumping out. Luke's Percival. This is the last. Whitby. Going for that corner again, just sticking it so hard. The problem this time with that kick is that a lot of the chasers actually got ahead of Whitby, so they couldn't put the foot down.
But again, you look at the accuracy on the kick from Whitby, the second one in this half, where he's dropped it just before the try line. Nice carry. Look at the speed of this play, the ball.
There's Thewlis. King having done well on the previous carry. Harrison.
4. Move again. Hold. Goal 4.
Again, the kick out of dummy half. It's quite a tool to have, isn't it? When you're missing some of your recognised halves, and that is the perfect kick from Powell, holding up and given a job for Saylor to do.
Like I said, he'll take control, Sam Powell. That's a great kick from the experienced Tucker into the corner. Challenge them now. Good chase from Warrington. Play that position and try and get the possession.
So 30 minutes to play, game in the balance. Don't just love it. Thursday night, Super League. Delivering again here. Wellsby. Quite a noise around the place as well. Wormsley racking up. Having to kick from deep.
40.
Whitby. Taken under control by Matty Ashton. Chase from Saints is decent.
Well, that's a bit of a reward, isn't it? Still tries to get the distance on that kick, Whitby, but because of all the work that they did on the back of the kick from Sam Powell, they find themselves now just approaching halfway. Some solid defence from Saints. Again, just a lot of fight from the likes of Wormsley and Morgan Knowles.
Here's Crowder.
Hold.
Powell again, and Danny Walker, the established half-back on the field, and look at Duffy going here, reeling away through. Clark grabbed hold of the hips to stop the fun, but Warrington again on the front foot, moving with purpose. Musgrove. And they finished their set in range of what could be a good kicking position, but it's not got the kickers on the field. That's the problem. The little dab through from King. Oh, and that's foolhardy almost from Saylor. Well, they're claiming here that there was a St Helens touch.
I'm giving a 20-metre restart, mate. Can you just check that?
The ref just checking whether I think
yes,
the ball
mate, restart check. I'm giving a 20-metre restart. Can you just confirm that, please?
Matty Ashton really tries to reach around Tristan Saylor.
Yeah, ball's bounced. I mean, hits Saylor's foot, but after the ball has hit the ground.
I can check it, mate. Just check as a restart.
Well, the ref just making sure, I say, the game's in the balance by just 6 points, tries everything. Matty Ashton.
Cheers, mate.
I don't think there's anything there to move. Contrary to what the referee's given, is there?
No.
It's going to be a tap back on the 20.
The right call, wasn't it, from the ref?
Yeah.
OK, Tom. Cheers, mate. Yeah, OK. Zero
Referees
coming.
and touch judges working in harmony. Goodwill referee proving that. Clark, arms outstretched, wants to get things moving, and here's Wormsley again, just crashing in there. Taking a little extra fuel out of the Warrington resolve with his big muscular efforts. closes it, Knowles.
3. Move! Out we come, boys, hold! Ball 3.
Sailor. And again by Semble. Passing. Relatively fresh onto the field. St Helens putting themselves in decent striking range on the last. Whitby sends it so high again. But there was never any doubt whose ball that was going to be. Duffy underneath it.
Oh, well dealt with it. The battle wasn't. He thought that they were going up to the long side, but he decided to come back and kick to the left-hand side. But Matt Duffy spotted the danger. Nice and composed, took the ball. And Warrington now just get through the next 4 or 5 sets of 6. Because Saints are just trying to just get the door open by just jamming the foot in there. You can see again decent line speed from them.
Well, they are keeping this Warrington go forward to a minimum here, because that is tackle 5, and they're going to have to somehow find a clearance here. Does Powell go out of dummy half again? Well, that makes it more difficult because it's slowed down. It's back with Walker. Walker's kick is not a bad one, actually. Sailor is able to put his name on that.
Well, again, it's Matt Duffy trying to milk a penalty on last play. Look, whenever they come to the 4th play, Matt Duffy's always going to get the ball, tries to use his footwork, tries to beat defenders, play the ball quickly, and that's his job. You get the ball on the last play because you try and play the ball quickly. Don't look at the referee to try and get a penalty.
Wellesby across the line. Bedison's joining in here as well. In that right wing position. Toing and throwing, that gentle rhythm of a Super League game that's in the balance at the moment. Both sides trying to establish some kind of dominance. St Helens, last couple of sets, earning better field position. Knowles and Walmsley. And this will be the last. I want to get on with it quickly. Walmsley's reckoning he was pulled from behind. The referee says get off. Get on with it. And Sailor or inside tie. And a big pass over the top to change the angle of attack. The step from Whitley. It's back with Percival. Parsi can't keep hold of the ball. And it all ends in tatters from St Helens' attacking point of view.
Yeah, a little bit of panic setting in from Saints because of the defence from Warrington. Look at them turning up in numbers, trying to offload the ball. Ignatius Parsi just feels the heat from Crowther, the number 17 from Warrington. And again, just keeping the ball alive at all costs. Last play, and just loses the ball.
There's a doctor on the field. The Warrington, I can't see who it is on that far side. Oh, it's Lachlan Fitzgibbon, who, oh golly, we don't want to watch that. Dislocated finger being put back. I think he's in a little bit of discomfort there, isn't he? So he's down the tunnel to get that sorted. Paul Vaughan's come back on the field in the meantime. And St Helens turning up the heat in defence. Rocking in goes Walker, again out of dummy half, but passes there.
Nice little run, but then runs into a brick wall, doesn't he?
Crowther. You look up and suddenly everything goes dark. Bang. Vaughan. Powell at dummy half. Duffy's involved. So that tells you it's the 5th tackle. Walker kicking it away. Plenty of cover back there to make sure Sailor skipping out of the first attempted tackle, but Musgrove there to make sure things are clean and tidy from Warrington's point of view.
In a sense, it'd just be desperate to try and speed this game up a bit now. Let's play the offloading game. Again, just getting over the advantage line. Nice little run out of dummy half from Darrell Clark, just chewing up 10-15 metres.
I don't think we've seen the spectacular for Murphy so far this season, have we, since his return? There's Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Looking as though he's going to be ready soon to come back on, and Wellesby now will carry it in. And just engages the attentions of three defenders who do their job. Thewlis wrapping up the ball to make sure nothing's slipping out there. It's on the last again. Whitby again puts it so high. Benison comes running in and has got it, but then loses the ball. It goes backwards. It's all rather scrappy again. But Warrington escape with it, get it back again.
Do you know, but it's just an accurate kick from the youngster. Just look at that, where he drops it. He drops it on the dime and he's heading for Benison. He just can't quite take it in, but again, just asking questions through the kicking game.
Darrell Clark's just been getting some patching up, which is why we've got the delay here. He's got a bandage on his head now. There's Darrell. Physicality lifted a notch again. St Helens looking to turn up the heat again. Oh, and they've knocked it clear. It's dropped by Crowder. It's collected here by Sambu. Pushing off a couple. And eventually Powell will drag him in. But 6 tackles from here. 6 from here. St Helens know they're within striking range of their opponents, both on the field and on the scoreboard. Can they get over? Warrington with some desperate defending to do. Clark, Whitby, Walmsley back towards the middle, resetting the platform. Clark has a look, spins it back. Parsi, another of the big fellas. Warrington's defensive resolve being asked questions of, and they reply in no uncertain terms. You're not going through us. How about Roundham? Saylor, a kick towards the corner. Percival's after it. Oh, has he got it down? Has he got that down? In that desperate chase. Ashton was involved as well.
Tom, tackle free. We have a try.
Try in the field.
We have a try. Can we confirm he's onside from the kick? And he does ground the ball, please, mate.
He's going to talk a bit calmer than he does. Pull the shirt and so will that become an 8-point try?
It's tackle 3 with the try and field, checking onside, offside, in towards the ground, and so we pause the ball on the foot. So the chasers to the right are onside, so we can play on to this point. Just stay on this angle for us, so we'll stay on here. Just something tight in on camera 4, if we can, please. We'll play through from this point. And we're just going to check grounding from the corner angle, please. Take this back. So in possession at this point, he's got the yellow boots on. He's in field at this point. He's still in field. We can see green between the boot and the white line. Anything else on that? Possibly the other corner. So slow on this, please. So take this back, please. I'm just going to confirm whether he remains in the field or not. So, in possession, and then slow, please, slow. Just take this one back, please. Play through. And just back from the corner, please. Something from the corner that we had the first one on the ground in. So fair challenge up until this point. In possession and slow on this. He's in possession at this point. Slow, please. Keep going slow. Anything from the other side? So if we can we flip that, please, just to confirm that his boot is on the line when the ball is grounded. So slow. So at that point there, you can see his boot, his right boot, is on the dead ball line when the ball is grounded. I made my decision.
Well, touch and go, whether it was touch and goal, but I think this is going to go Warrington's way.
Simultaneous, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Despite the referee on the field, but it was a question of millimetres and moments there, wasn't it? What happened when? And there wasn't much in it, but it is going to be Warrington's decision. No try. And I don't think the coaching staff had too many complaints.
Yeah, well, there was nothing in that at all. Mark Percival, well, he gets on the outside, but you can just see that his right boot just goes on the dead ball. I did think that he could have got a penalty as well, because when he goes on the outside, when he goes on the outside of Mark Percival, he's been took back by Matty Ashton. So at least if that try wasn't awarded, they should have got a penalty.
Might even have been a call for a penalty try. Look,
you can just see he's pulling him, he was pulling him back. And obviously it would have had an effect on him getting to the ball.
Anyway, been and gone. And off we go again. 20 points to 14. Warrington. Just under an hour played. And a wonderful throbbing atmosphere here tonight. Walker. This is taken on by Russell. Smothered by two St Helens defenders. Walker. Vaughan, almost as if he wasn't expecting that.
No, he didn't want it. Not that he wasn't expecting it, because he could see Morgan Knowles coming, just tracking, expecting that ball to be dropped off.
Just having a word with Curtis Sirenan as he got up as well there. Philbin has taken play 12 inside that St Helens half, but they have no more plays to go. Walker. And here comes Russell, who sticks it high. Oh, there's a collision off the ball. There is a collision off the ball, which has given Warrington the penalty.
I'm getting my decision on the penalty.
Unnecessarily as it happened.
Yeah, well, Murphy has this covered for me, but you can just see him just trying to track, trying to get in the way of Foulis. And he knows exactly what he's doing. Does enough. Foulis takes a dive as well, to be fair. And they get the penalty.
Tom, we have a captain's challenge.
Captain's challenge now. St Helens not happy with it.
St Helens are challenging the on-field decision of an escort.
So let's hear from the video referee again, Tom Grant.
The captain's challenge. St Helens are challenging the on-field decision of an escort. So we're back to the kick. So pause the ball on the foot. We've got players that are off to the left, but chasers to the right are onside. So we'll just play this through. So they're played back onside. So is there a lateral movement? So looking at Sambo. So at this point, he's not moving towards the ball. He moves laterally and takes out Foulis. Challenge unsuccessful.
So it is a penalty for Warrington.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, mate.
What do you reckon, Terry?
Yeah. Called it straight away, didn't we?
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. You know you've got to get back, you've got to try and protect the man who's jumping up for the ball, but you can't do that. You can't just go in front of him. And he knew what he was doing, like he accelerated, he got on his bike, didn't he? Just looking over his shoulder.
Just a little glimpse there, wasn't there? Yeah.
And the direction he's running towards him.
Yeah.
And there you go, Paul Wellens. Look, who would be a coach disappointed, and he'll go for 2 points here.
And a massive, massive kick this as well, because this gives Warrington an 8-point lead if it goes over. Suddenly, the psychological damage of this moment impacts on St Helens as well. He knows that, as Sam, he knows that this is a big step to where they want to be tonight. A third successive win against St Helens in the last 5 weeks. One here in the league. That's St Helens in the league, 14-12. They beat them in the Challenge Cup, 20 points to 12, and it's another tight one tonight. Hasn't landed one so far. Late to the kicking duties in the absence of Sneed, and he's landed that one. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, well, I thought that went through. And he thought it went through.
Yeah, I must admit, so did I as well.
But the touch judges were adamant.
Yeah, I thought this goes through. I thought it was going wide at first, but then all of a sudden, does it just sneak back in?
I think from the angle there, the touch judges had the best view. No, that's wide, isn't it? That's wide. I mean, when it's on the other side of the sticks, it looks as though it's gone through, but touch judges were, you know, straight away. There was no looking at each other. I think they got that right.
Well, you just can't dwell on it, can you? Look at the shake of the head from Sam Burgess. But he still knows that destiny's in their own hands here, still winning by 6 points.
And somewhere, Rod Studd is typing a missive about how we should have nets behind the goals. Here's Powell out of dummy half. The ball now comes running on again. Warrington. Well, they missed that opportunity to give themselves a 2-score lead, but they have a positional opportunity now to strike again. Curry. Oh, it's a poor pass. Oh, and it's Dufty. How did he keep hold of that? And then he gets it away to Thewlis, and Thewlis is being chased, but he's back on the inside, and Ty's lost his footing, but he's slid over the line. It is the most unlikeliest of tries. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was like something from Scooby-Doo. They nearly lost the ball. They somehow kept hold of it, and Roderick Try was running in quicksand before he eventually scored. And that might be a match winner, and how memorable that match winner will be.
Well, certainly one of the most bizarre tries you'll ever see. When the ball was going out, Matt Dufty manages to catch the ball between his legs. He doesn't lose it. And straight from that, you can see him get all of it. No panic at all from him. Gives the ball out wide, and Josh Phillips does an amazing job to get rid of that ball. Gives it to Roderick Town. What a way to score your first try of the year in such a close encounter against one of your biggest rivals. It's incredible the way that Dufty gets hold of that ball, and what a good job from the young man Thewlis. And Roderick Tye, well, he just let himself get dragged over that try line, and the crowd go up, because let me tell you, they were nervous, and I tell you who'd be nervous as well, the coach on the sideline, Sam Burgess. That's what it means.
Oh, yeah.
All that passion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that flood out. Look at that flood out.
That's what I mean, all that emotion in you, and you know, all of a sudden you see a try come that you don't think it's on. You thought that your fullback had dropped the ball. You managed to keep hold of it. And good play from Dufty, good play from Thewlis, and a good finish from Roderick Tye.
First of the season for Roderick Tye. How did he get there? How did he get there? How did Dufty keep hold of the ball? There's so many questions to that try. Slightly less importance to this kick. And there are no doubts about that one. The flags will rise. And there's an extra oomph to the roar from the Warrington fans, cheering those flags going up. It is 26-14, and it's a 2-score lead that Warrington have suddenly established.
Well, the atmosphere's just lifted, but what about that? That's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in a build-up to a try. But credit Matt Dufty, and he gets hold of this ball. He knows he's just got to try and get it, pouch it, give the ball to a man in a better position. That man was Thewlis, and I thought he'd done a tremendous job to stay on the field then. And as soon as that ball goes to Roderick Tye, no panic from him. He knew that when he was sliding across the ground that his body weight would get him over, and that's such an important try for them.
This is going to be a last 15 minutes of some drama, you suspect. The short kick-off hasn't worked in St Helens' favour. Ooh, but there's an injury there, clearly. And as we wait for the treatment, there's a reminder of what's coming up the rest of this weekend. Salford players been paid, as we know. Kettle and Wakefield also at 5:25 on Saturday. Sky Sports Plus, those two. The NRL back with us Sunday morning. Tigers against the Sharks at 7:05. And Hull against Wigan. That's a really fascinating game, isn't it? 2:55 on Sunday. Bench podcast, as ever, with Jenna and John. SkySports.com podcast. If you haven't already registered for those so that they drop into your device automatically every week, make sure you do. He's had quite a night so far tonight with a hat-trick of tries, but It's a little bit painful at the moment.
Well, he's got the signal as well. He's going off for the HIA now. Matty Ashton, a big influence on this game, hasn't he? Been really good. And what you get from Matty Ashton, you get this sort of class on the edge, the brilliance that he has. He can finish a try from anywhere, and he's been so influential in this game, and it'll be a big loss over the next 10 minutes or so if he doesn't come back on the field. And a big night from him over on that left edge.
His first HIA was a hat-trick in action. His second HIA is the head injury assessment. I don't think he can come back because it's going to be a minimum of 15 minutes, hasn't it? So here's when it happened. And as a result of that, we have a young man on the field for whom this is a very special occasion. Ewan Irwin, the 18th man, is activated, and 17-year-old Ewan Irwin comes on for his debut. And boy, do they need a halfback of some talent. And from what we know, he is a halfback of some talent.
Well, we saw it with George Whitley, a couple of years older, and the influence that he's had with his kicking game, and now for Warrington, on the back of some strong carries like that, they just need someone to take hold of them, kick to corners, do the right thing. And Ewan Irwin,
well, he's played in the reserves. He's had 3 reserve team games this year, and here he is as 18th man and playing Lee Miners Rangers, his community club.
Well, if coaches didn't think they were ready, they wouldn't put them on the bench, you know, in that situation where they come on.
It used to be a couple of years ago, you put an 18th man out there knowing that they were not coming on, just to give them experience of being in the first team environment. But now there's every possibility every week, isn't there?
I think it's a great rule as well. Players go off injured, and they lose some players on the bench, and I just think it's a great opportunity for the young man.
This is Duffy trying to put the step on. So exciting to watch young kids coming through. We were thrilled to watch George Whitby's emergence on the big stage a couple of weeks ago. What's Ewan Irwin's impact going to be in what remains of this game? He'll be nervous. He'll be nervous. Here he is, first touch, gets the kick away despite the pressure, and boy, is that a decent one as well. And Saylor has spilled it. No, he's not. He's caught it again before he hit the ground.
Well, that's a great take, wasn't it, from Tristan Saylor at the back. Good first kick from the young man in his professional career. The out and look yet, and a little bit of a bobble, managed to get hold of it before it hit a Warrington player.
There is time for St Helens to come back in this game.
Well, and I'm sure there'll be a message from Sam Burgess. Look, remember how they finished off in the first half. Don't switch off.
Shoulder of ties involved again. Jenna, what news from the touchline?
Just on Ewan Irwin, the 17-year-old making his debut. He's impressed all the coaching staff with his game management and just all-round skills at halfback. Here you go. You see this shot here. Sam Burgess puts his arm around him moments before going on, shakes him up, tells him he can do this, he's got this. We'll see if he does.
Yeah, we will. What a test. Because this is going to be a rocky road this last 12 minutes, because St Helens are desperate to get back into this. We saw them fight back with character against Wigan last week when all seemed lost, and they pushed the Warriors all the way. And he's here again at dummy half at the feet of Curry. Walker bends his back and has a scuttling run.
Well, we've just got to try and see this game out now. Warrington.
Filled it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Percival's ripped the ball free as well, but there were 2 in the tackle by the time he did that.
Well, he just tried to monster Philbin. Joe Philbin, let me tell you, he's one of the most aggressive ball carriers in the comp. Well, Mark Percival, you could say the same about him. He wasn't carrying the ball on this occasion. He was trying to put a big dent in Joe Philbin and forced the error. He stripped it illegally with a couple of mates around him. And they put themselves again under a bit of pressure here.
Callers, boys, please.
Irwin's heartbeat still going at about twice the normal rhythm as he settles into this. Harrison. Well, Warrington could seal it from this position. Another score you'd suggest would be enough. Owen putting it back to Philbin. Matty Ashton has failed his HIA, we're told. Walker. Oh, and just drawing the attention of defenders. Duffy's footwork is marvellous, absolutely marvellous. And he will be lead conductor as the orchestra cheers. A Warrington win, no doubts now. Matt Duffy, sensational down the middle, has given Warrington an unassailable lead.
Well, they couldn't deal with him, could they? The speed, the threat, the power from Duffy, the quick thinking as well to realise what was coming at him. And that must be it now. Game, set, and match. Walker, and he delivers the pass, and you could just see three Saints players all on the ground, and Matt Duffy not wasting any time, not looking around. As soon as he gets this ball, he knows that there's a bit of speed in front of him. He reacts to what those three defenders are doing on the floor, and if there's those defenders on the floor, he knows that there's some space back in the middle of the field, and he exploits that space and goes in for the try that surely clinches this game.
Well, they started the ninth in 9th position in the Super League, which, you know, is not cause for panic after 8 rounds. But Sam Burgess will be feeling a lot happier now about the state of things. His side heading to Magic Weekend in good form, but they'll be missing a few. He'll be out.
Sneed will be out.
Sneed will be out.
Yeah.
HIA.
Along with the other players that are already missing.
George Williams, to remind you, ankle injury, could be another 6-7 weeks yet. Well, as Jenna was telling us earlier, hoping to get back for a potential Wembley final if they make it. There he is, St George's Day earlier this week, but it's going to be some weeks before it's that George's Day again. And Aaron Lindop to make up that cluster of talent that's about unavailable, broken jaw. But Pulis puts it over, 32 points to 14.
Well, they've just settled a bit now. You know, the Warrington fans sat in the stand. And this is where he's good, when he reacts to defenders. Matt Duffy, play the game at speed. I've been critical of him when he's been trying to play for a penalty, but that's Matt Duffy at his best. When he's going, and that young man, Ewan Irwin, will be a part of a decent result, decent win maybe for Sam Burgess. Man, what a game for your debut.
Well, Saints go short and they come up trumps because they get possession back again. Tackle restarts, and a penalty because Warrington are clearly offside on that defensive line. Reminder, they have to score 3 times, convert all 3, and even then it would take golden point extra time. Please. Here's Mbai. Gillespie's gone running across there. Whitby with a little dummy. He's the old head on the field now in terms of half-backs on both sides. Mbai. Gillespie at Sailor with a double pump. Percival gets it away. Lovely. Lovely stuff. Maybe there's fight in this Saints team yet, because Bennison has finished. Tries confirmed. They need to land the conversion from the touchline, but they're back within 14.
Well, they're giving themselves a chance in this game. Big kick here for the young man, George Whitby, to get this ball over, knowing that his side are running out. And that right edge has certainly looked dangerous for Paul Wellens and his coaching team.
Well, they're not getting overexcited, are they, just yet? Whitby knows the importance of this if this unlikely comeback is on. No. So they still have to score 3 tries.
And in 7 minutes, probably going to be a bit difficult now. Warrington just making their way back to halfway. Nice and slow, nice hands again from Percival and Tristan Taylor. Doing enough to just suck in those defenders and passing the ball at the correct time. Warrington, like I said now, just nice and easy walking back, knowing that the game's in the bag.
6 minutes and 40 seconds when the clock restarts. There's a level of satisfaction amongst Warrington fans that it's job done, but Saints fans still living in faint hope. So a big pass from Whitby to Saylor.
You never say never in the game, but you never know what could happen. I'd imagine that it would be a major upset if we were to lose this game at home with the fans behind them now.
And they've scored some points tonight. That was one of the issues, wasn't it? The guys were talking about. Don't forget, once we've finished, Brian, John and Kev will be unpicking this. Jenna speaking to the named contenders and those involved. Wellsby, Saylor, a quick step, double step, and a step back on the inside here from Whitley, and the pass is to Graham, but it's picked up by Wellsby, who's still travelling. Pushes away Harrison, pushes away. A second attempted tackle, running into a cul-de-sac in the end. There's a little flutter as he took that, but they're on the last play here. Delaney. Who wants this? Who wants to take control of this? Whitby eventually puts it up in the air. Super take by Toby King on that pass.
Nobody really wanting to take control of that last play and looking around and trying to give the ball in someone in better position, but the mark is not squirt around the ruck, round the play of the ball.
Not squirt marker, makes the tackle, I call him.
We'll give the penalty away. You'll see he just can't quite manage John Menison to get back behind Morgan Knowles. He gets involved in the tackle, penalties awarded.
Let's go, mate.
So a touch finder from Irwin.
In the middle, boys. Hold, mark. Hold, boys. Hold. Wait. Go.
Tapped by Irwin. Carried by Yates. Tell you what, there's some big weeks coming up now for Warrington. I mean, they desperately needed this one, because look what's coming. Wigan in Magic weekend next week. That's going to be huge. That's a Sunday. That's a middle game on Sunday. Then a Challenge Cup semi-final against Lee. Then they're at Wakefield, who they've been beaten by once, of course, this season here. Then the leaders, Hull KR. My goodness, those next 4 fixtures. And Castleford will be hoping to plot some kind of form by then as well. That is really going to test Warrington, isn't it?
It's huge, isn't it? And they'll be looking at them games. The next 4 in particular, no disrespect to Castleford, thinking that they've got to really pick up those points against those teams nearer the top.
50 to tie. The ball was quick, snapped up by Thewlis.
Surrender!
Last play here. It's very slow. It's Walker. This is Ty, and he doesn't mind that. He doesn't mind that. Handing over possession in this position, in this state of the game.
Yeah, no. The right place to do it. And the set in that corner. Nice. So look at them. They're all on the blocks, ready to get off the line. Looking to take Curtis in with the offload. And you would say now that is the right time to offload the ball. When you're desperate, you need points. The game's gone if you don't get them.
Saylor tossing it. Oh, a big stretch of the arm. Brilliant by King. Curry picks it up as well. This desperate throw of the ball from St Helens has just given Warrington position and possession back again.
Well, that's it, last-ditch efforts. Now you're trying to play your way out of trouble. You're not having any joy going forward, really. Ball over the top, just manages to get his hands on it, Toby King.
Harrison blasted in. Warrington looking for a final try to lift the mood even higher. It's joyful enough in these parts as it stands. Now they're at a dummy half. Saints desperate not to concede again. Walker. Vaughan! Over he goes. He's having a look, hopefully, at the referee.
Mate, tackle 4.
He's going...
I have no try.
No try. So we're off to the video referee again here.
Please, Tom.
Tackle 4, we have no try on field. We're looking to establish if the ground's the ball or if it's short. So we'll play this through. We're giving up. I need to see something on the goal line, please. To see if the ball makes the line. Anything on the other side, please. In the other corner. To tell us more, so he's falling towards the line. We'll lose sight of the ball at that point. Can't see much on the ball. He's going to keep playing through in this angle. You can't see the ball. The ball appears to be short of the line at that point. Anything that'll tell us more? We'll just check this one. So he's falling towards the floor. We can just about see the ball on that angle there. And we then lose the ball in between the leg and the post pad. So we keep playing this through. Oh, we can see the ball there. Anything else on that? The ball appears to be short on that angle. Just want to review all angles. And then back to the one we saw from the camera. This will do. So on tackle 4, we've got a live call of no try. This is the best angle. The ball is short. Keep playing this through. And the referee blows his whistle then. We've got a decision.
Well, no try. Would have been his first of the year. I remember him scoring his first of last season, and I think it was in a similar position. Just blasting over from that range. Here we go. Here we go. No try. Well, it gives us a chance to check our emails while all that was going on, wasn't it? It is no try. But Warrington's still in good position. And is he going for it? Oh, it's through the hands of Irwin. I thought he might be going for a cheeky drop goal at the end of that. It is the last play.
Take it, please. Let go, Joe.
St Helens get it back again. Just to see out the final 2 minutes of this match.
Well, he'd set up for it, hadn't he? And he dropped in the pocket to get that drop goal. Unfortunately, the pass wasn't good enough from dummy half.
It's going to be fascinating to hear from both coaches at the end of this game, especially Sam Burgess, whose side are going to win here, but all the injury problems, what are the reactions, what are the implications, and Paul Wellens, the defeat against Wigan last week, defeat against Warrington here, that's going to sting against the two local rivals.
Well, the completion rate in the first half for Saints, they've just been up against it the last couple of weeks.
And Wellesby with a kick through. It's Murphy who kicks it on, and Dufty and here in a bit of a foot race here, and Dufty scores an own try. Quite happy to touch it down behind the deaf ball line. Big smile. Does that count? No, he doesn't.
Well, and even knowing that the game's done, just chasing hard and getting that ball and preventing Saints from scoring. And Matt Dufty does the right thing. You talk about Sam Burgess. I think Sam Burgess will be really happy the way his troops have reacted to those HIAs that they've lost, especially in Mark Sneed, losing his guile around the ruck and guidance. Been the most dominant half that they had, with Danny Walker obviously playing out of position. But they managed to do a number there on Saints.
So the last 20 seconds or so, and St Helens will go down with ball in hand. Can they improve the situation a little here? Whitley back in the centres. Wellesby trying to slide it through. You can hear the countdown in the background. Last desperate act of a team that have been beaten. It's Sam Burgess' Warrington side who come up triumphant. Wasn't always certain that they had some adversity here tonight, losing key characters through injury, especially Mark Sneed at half-time. That could have been huge, but Warrington have weathered it, and St Helens coming up short. That'll be a worry, that'll be a concern. But it has finished here. Victory for Warrington by 32 points to 18.